We're on. We're on. So let's bring in the callers. And I appreciate everybody waiting. This is quite exciting. Welcome to the show, 980. You made it. Where are you calling in from? What's your name?
Hi. I'm 980. Is this me?
You are live, Third Phase of the Moon. Wow. Where are you calling in from? You're calling loud and clear.
Excellent. Okay, great. I'm calling from North Carolina. And I have a big UFO story for you.
This is what I like. This is what I like. Hey, thank you so much for calling in. Now, let's get to your story. When, where, what did you see?
Right.
I'm looking forward to this. Go ahead.
Well, this is so exciting. I'm a big fan of you. But anyways, just to give you a quick background, I'm legit. I'm ex-military. And the other witnesses that were with me were also ex-military. So I've got some history with aircraft and what's normal and what's not. Anyways, I reported it actually, it was seen in April of 2012. It was April 24th to be exact, at around 9 p.m. I live in a very, very tiny town in North Carolina by the name of Marshville. And if you look up on the National UFO Reporting Database, you'll see my very poorly written report, but I also called in to the person who runs the website and spoke to him personally. Anyhow, to get to the actual story, I'm an avid sky watcher, big into planetary whatnot, and just all of that. Anyhow, this, like I said, this was evening time. And are you still there?
I'm reading you loud and clear. This is interesting because now we got a military person with a background, and I'm looking forward to this. But what you just said just a little bit ago, this is going to be exciting. Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
Okay, excellent. So anyway, this was about 9 o'clock at night, and I'm still living in the current town. It's a very tiny, little sleepy farming town. Not much going on. Keynote, I am about 2 hours outside of a military installation, Fort Bragg. So I am used to seeing helicopters and aircraft and whatnot. And the main commercial flight pattern, I'm very familiar with that as well, that leads to Charlotte, the Charlotte International Airport. Anyhow, I was making dinner, and I had the TV on. I had at the time, he was 13, and I had a 2-year-old. So my house started to basically vibrate is the term. And I'm real keen on different sounds of aircraft. And I thought, what is that? So I turned the TV down, and I waited for a minute. And it was a vibrating, but also like a humming sensation. It was a physical sensation. So I went outside, and it was a crystal clear evening, dark. I'm not in a real brightly lit area, so you don't have city lights obscuring the sky. And when I go outside, it was an all-encompassing, humming, vibrating. It literally jarred you to the core. This vibrating sound, and you couldn't tell where it came from. You couldn't tell if it was from the sky or the ground. So I go to look up, and I see a craft. First, I see one, anyways, and it had 4 very bright, very round lights, which you actually couldn't see the craft in itself, but it was rather very low flying. And the lights, they were just sort of glowing, so you could tell it wasn't from like a manufactured bulb or casing or whatnot. And this craft was circling as in tight circles overhead. Small circles, tight circles, and it would go up and down in its altitude, and all of a sudden, another one joins it. And they're weaving in and out in almost like a figure-8 pattern, and they would weave tight circles and then spread out and then get tight together again. And then a third one joins it, and it was mind-blowing, and it actually was quite terrifying. Me, being an avid sky watcher, I'm used to seeing odd things and lights and things that you would classify as UFOs, but nothing so close. I mean, they were so low overhead. I would say in height, I wouldn't I wouldn't have said any more than maybe 500 yards over the top of your head. So I called my husband, who was working at an old house. He rehabs houses literally 3 streets down. And I called him and I said, look outside. Do you hear that? He said, well, I've got my radio on. I said, go outside. Of course, he, at the time, was not a big UFO believer. I said, go outside. I said, just listen. And he listened, and then he looks up and he said, oh, my God, what is that? I said, I don't know. My 13-year-old son comes running out, and they're weaving these patterns, and it was not jets, it wasn't helicopters, it wasn't any military aircraft I'd ever seen. I was raised around the military. My father was military. Then I later joined. It was phenomenal. It was terrifying. I thought, oh, my God, we're being invaded. You know, you can only hope that they were, friendly, of sorts.
Amazing.
But the physical sensation was what got me. It made my 13-year-old son get a headache. And I told him, I said, get back inside with your baby brother. He's like, Mom, I don't feel good. It made instantaneously was disorienting, made me queasy, got a headache. And I told my husband, I said, you need to come home. You need to come home now. I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, I don't know if this is some sort of experimental military aircraft. I don't know what this is, but this is not normal. He's like, I can't. So I send my son in to go take care of his baby brother, and I was rooted to the spot just in fascination, going, what are these? You know, you always look up and know. I mean, it'd be ridiculous to think that we were the only beings in this vast universe. I mean, there's 250 billion galaxies just like ours, you know. So, but to see it was amazing. But like I said, the sound that emanated off of these things was all encompassing. It vibrated the very fabric of your essence. I mean, everything around us. And I could hear what few people were outside commenting just down the street, going, what is that? And I wanted to run up to these people and say, you know, what? My entire family is saying these things. But then what was interesting, they were really focused overhead of my house, and there's a pretty big field over the house. And the formations that they were doing, that they were flying, is not possible with the aircraft that we have now, at least that we are being told about. And they started flying tighter and tighter and tighter in this formation, and all of a sudden, overhead, they get tighter and tighter together. They go higher in altitude and leave this funny mist, like a foggy mist, and they all of a sudden just shot up straight up into the atmosphere, and they were gone. Poof. Like nothing ever happened, but left this odd sort of not like a contrail, not like they couldn't smell anything. It was just like a vapor of sort, and just poof, they were gone. And I was left stunned.
Amazing. Let me ask you quickly, and
Sure.
I don't want to interrupt, but what you're explaining to us is not the first time we've heard of this vibration experience. Some people say that it actually shakes the whole house. And and it's happened with other family members, just like yourself, witnessing this. Let me ask you: is there any? See, there's Brent is trying to. I guess people are saying on the Flash Cat, there's a possibility of an electromagnetic pulse drive. How's your son doing after this? You said he had migraines. There's a strange mist left in the air. This is a little disconcerting.
He had a marked severe headache for at least an hour and a half after being out there. Now, he wasn't out there nearly as long as I was. I wanted the kids in the house just because I wasn't sure what it was. I wanted to really pay attention to it. But yeah, I got nauseous. I got sick to my stomach. My husband, because he was working, he couldn't come home. I asked him how he felt, and he said he had like a dizzy, disorienting thing. And he said he pulled his phone out to try to video it. And he tried to video it, and when he brought his phone home later, when we went to review the video, it was nothing but static. There was nothing, which he at the time had a top-of-the-line, really nice phone. First and only time it ever malfunctioned. So, yeah, I do believe it was some sort of an EMP, some sort of a distortion-type technology. I think it was, whether it was man-made or alien or anything otherwise, but it was, and the way it left, it was very interdimensional, not just poof, we're going to fly back to wherever we came from. It was, they poofed out. I mean, it was just, they went up and then they were gone. It was the most insane thing that I have ever seen. And I have had, throughout the course of my life, a lot of normal UFO type experiences, seeing an odd light or whatever, but I'm very well aware of what the ISS looks like. You can sign up for email alerts when it's visible and when it's going to go over. You can tell what's satellites and what's not, But this, having been raised by military air bases, flight strips, landing strips, and watching planes do touch and goes and different types of helicopters and whatnot, this was out of this world, And in fact, I talked to my son about it a while ago. He's 18 now. Like I said, this was 5 years ago. Because, you remember that? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, how could I forget it? It was phenomenal.
Wow.
And like I said, you can go.
Let me ask you this. So this is really cool because you've got the multiple eyewitnesses. You actually have basically physical contact. One way, whether it be the sound or whatever was left in the mist, it affected your body one way or the other. Could it have been just because you were witnessing something so amazing that it could affect your body, almost like a roller coaster or the odds factor? But what's interesting, too, is that your husband tried to film this on the up-to-date iPhone, you say, and it failed to work, which is the first time that has it's never happened since. When did this exactly take place? Could you give us an exact date? Do you recall the date? What time?
Oh, yeah.
And is it the place?
You can look it up on the website. April 24th, 2012. And it happened at 9 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. I'm in North Carolina. That's not the first time I've had a UFO experience here in this town. Oh, sure.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
It's the National UFO Reporting Center. New Force, I believe, is the short term. But now, mind you, I wrote it. You can click on that date. You can go by state. So what you do is you click on the state, North Carolina, and then you just scroll down until you get to that date. And the written report is there. It was written hurried, but I spoke to the guy who runs the site. And I didn't want to report it to MUFON just because I'm a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, no, that's, I don't know. I don't trust that site. This guy seems legit, but my report's there. And it's,
you know what? We're gonna take a look at it, and who knows? We might even share your story in a upcoming documentary that we want to. Your husband didn't capture it, but what did you guys look like as you are filming or reacting to this thing? Maybe we could use your story. So we're going to look this up.
Well, that's not the first time.
Really amazing.
My husband and I, I'm sorry to interrupt. That's not the first pretty blatant UFO experience we've had in this town. Before we moved into the house that event occurred at, we lived out in the country. And my husband used to tease me because I'm a sky gazer. I pay attention to meteor showers and planetary stuff. I'm a amateur astronomer, basically. And I always would take my old Vivitar digital camera outside. And him and I, we were standing out stargazing because out in the country, 5 minutes down the road, where I live now, we're separated now, but 2 minutes down the road, and you're poof in the middle of nowhere. Perfect stargazing. We were standing out in the field one night where we used to live, and we see this big orange glowing object Now, the things that I've seen here are, it's odd because they're very low flying. And the big one I just told you about, these things, I feel like if you had a really good arm and could toss a football, you probably could have hit these suckers. So I don't know what to think of it, but all I know is it's not a man-made technology that we'd ever seen. But anyways, back to the other event out in the country. We were standing there, and I watched this orange light glow. And I told my husband, I said, that's a UFO. And he's like, no, it's not. It's probably a satellite. It's probably a plane. I said, no. I said, I know. A standard aircraft has to have a flashing red and green light, has to have it, and then you wait. And this orange thing, it starts to get right overhead of us. And as it starts to go overhead of us, the whole thing goes black. Completely black. Of course, I had my camera out, trying to film it, and as it starts to go over, my camera shuts off, and the light goes out, and it freaked my husband out. I told him, I said, see? I said, just because we say UFO doesn't mean we always have to attribute it to an alien something. I said, but there's something out there, and this is perfect town for it. Sleepy farming town. Everybody is in bed by 8 o'clock at night. Everybody. I'm probably the only one out at certain times of the night stargazing. But Marshville is a hotbed for seeing stuff, but you got to be out in the country. And I'm telling you, with my history and military experience and everything else, this stuff is out of this world. I know you guys live in Hawaii. I spent 6.5 years living there, actually. So if you ever had the money and time, you need to come to Marshville. Sit out in the field for a couple hours on a clear night, and it'll blow your mind.
Well, the call that you made tonight is probably going to go down in history in regards to how we react to some of these calls. So it's a good time that you did call in, because we are, as a matter of fact, working on this exact idea of talking to the people. We've got your phone number, and please, if we could call you back in regards to this and talk about how we could share your story in a whole different visual concept way, but then people can call you up and get it. This sounds really interesting. So let me ask you one last question, and I'm going to have to get to another caller because you just never know what else is happening.
Sure.
What was your rank? What was your rank in the military? And can I get your name just so we could write this down as well? Go ahead.
Yeah, my first name is Mary. It's spelled like Merry Christmas, Merry. Do you need my last name?
Okay, you don't need to do that now. That's fine. And then
okay, yeah.
Your rank in the military, what?
I was only in E2. I was only in for 1 year. I broke my hip, so the military, they said I was too broken, so they booted me out. But I spent my entire life. My father was in the military my entire life. My husband was in the military, so I've had nothing but exposure to military and aircraft and being around military installations my entire existence. So really actually living here in Marshville is the first time I haven't been like right on top of a military installation. So yeah, you don't get clout for the rank and time, but yeah, so I got hurt, but hey, I get a check for the rest of my life, so that's good. But yeah, so I was only in E2, made it that far, and then like I said, I got injured. So anyhow, but now my husband,
thanks so much for service. Thanks for you injured your body, and you deserve everything for doing what you had to do, and that's great. Your husband, go ahead.
My husband, he served for 4 years. We were both same branch. We were both Army, so he didn't get injured. he did his time and got out. My plan, I was going to be a lifer, and ironically, I ended up working in a hospital. But what I originally had signed up for was I was going to be an aircraft fueler. So that's what I'm saying. I'm very familiar with military aircraft. But yeah, so anyhow, but no, you're welcome. But I haven't earned that title. There were people that have actually been overseas and whatnot. But yes, I have the title of veteran, but I didn't earn it. So, but yes, you're absolutely more than welcome to contact me, and I'm sure my husband can give you his story, and my son can give you his perspective too. So, yeah.
Well, perfect.
It's legit.
Well, we will be giving you a call probably within the week, Mary. And
okay,
thanks for
excellent.
calling in, taking this step to call in and share your story. And then, like I said, you just never know what's going to happen when we open up the lines and people call in. And that's what's so special about this radio show that we do every Friday and Monday. Tell your friends, or if you know anybody that's been, abducted by aliens or a close encounter of this kind of scenario, tell them to call into Third Phase of Moon, reach out, and tell them the number is 347-934-0378. And the times will be wherever you are. Just visit our YouTube channel, and we'll always post updates. But I'm looking forward to getting in touch with Mary here this week, and who knows what's going to happen next. I got a feeling it would be an incredible documentation of what they saw and the events and what it feels like to be in this kind of situation, and share this with the world. Mary, thanks so much. Everybody, stand by. We'll be right back. Third Phase of Moon, more callers, more stories. Third Phase Moon broadcasting live. Welcome back. We are pretty excited about that last caller. Who knows who's going to call in next? We got a lot of callers in. We'll try and get to as many as possible. But if they got a good story, we want to hear it. We got 2 callers coming in from area code 917. We'll go to the first caller from 917. Welcome to the show. Where are you calling in from tonight?
Hello?
Yep, got you loud and clear. Yeah, where are you calling in from, sir?
What's up, Blake? How you doing? I guess today's the day I'm gonna speak. Then I guess. Cool. Well, for anybody who don't know, so people don't understand, can get a familiar of the story. I'm not a fictional character. I'm a real person. If anybody wants to know who I am, my name is Renee Colon. I'm a musician, a Latin musician from the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx, represent New York. And, I'm a musician. So, the music that I do, somebody called a couple months ago talking about how music, the music channels, the different dimensions and people talk about how, that the music, every music, rock, each music, a musician has a gift, a poet has a gift, a person that has ability to express themselves with an instrument or with their voice or with their hands or that's a gift from the gods. That's a gift from our ancestors. If people don't, it's something that that is given to us. So, I don't know. It could be, but I think one of them I met. One of those people that people talk about, like those like the Pleiadians. They showed up to one of my gigs, and it was pretty weird, but it was cool, But yeah, so inviting, yeah. You stay there with me, buddy? I ain't losing.
Yeah. I'm trying to get your feel and where you're going with it, but music and its connection with this alien phenomenon. Are you going with that?
Yes, no, yes, that's exactly what because I'm not, people call the show and have military backgrounds and all this stuff, it's remarkable, it's really great, and then just some of us, me, like I could perceive myself as a jokester, like I really look at things differently, but I really understand things like, which that people just gotta look up. People are into their cell phones too much. They locked in on their phones, and it's cool. But just look up, and you will see things that that will make you think like, wait a minute, it's on an airplane. So what is it? I see these things all the time. And I don't know if I could channel them. But they pop up, and every time I'm outside, they follow me, or they check up on me. I don't know what it is, but I know they're protecting me. I know I'm backed up by a force that is remarkable. And Blake, I don't know if you noticed, but the only person that can say this, a few people have said it. F1 said it a couple times. They've been calling on your show. Like the little weird sounds that you get, like the little weird feedbacks. You think it's there. You just gotta catch it. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Any
well, man, I appreciate the call in. And the concept, yeah, you never know when we're broadcasting live, and you never know what information is coming in. Had people with a top secret clearance at points that have shared their story. So, yeah, it is. It's interesting. But that's not. We're going to keep broadcasting, and that's what's great. And I don't know. I think we got some good information out tonight. Let's get to another caller from New York. It looks like area code 917. Are you with us?
Yes. Hi, Blake. Yes, this is Daryl calling from New York again. How are you?
Oh, doing good, Daryl. You're coming in really loud and clear. So, yeah, what's on your mind tonight?
Awesome.
Welcome to the show.
Well, I would like to talk about other dimensionals. I don't know if you know about the subject or have any opinion about it, but I think there's a lot of activity going on in New York with the other dimensionals. I know I see them. I have taped them. I can send you a video. But you see them in between the buildings. It's like they look like shadow people or shadow giants. I don't know if anybody's ever brought that up before or how anyone feels about that.
Wow. So you're seeing shadow giants in New York that are walking amongst millions of people in the most compact major city in the world? Well, this is weird.
Yeah. They are hiding in plain sight, I would say. They're usually, I could see them in the daytime. They're kind of actually more animated and they're less shadowy. Some of them are in full garb. They wear, different costumes or whatever they're wearing. But they're in between the buildings. I have caught them in various forms. There's also, at night, there's activity at the waterfront that it's so many beings that are apparently arriving, you can't even see the skyline from their height, and they're in the water as well as on the land. So I don't know what I'm seeing. I just know I just videotape them, and hopefully I can get somebody's opinion. but I could submit it to you, and maybe you could give me your idea what you think it is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I want to take a look at this. We'll let the world see it. If I really think what you're capturing is a phenomenon, how big are these entities? If you would be fair to say that what they are, but what do they look like exactly?
I'll give you an idea. Well, they range from human-looking people to actual animals like beasts of burden. I've had dinosaurs, which I think could be maybe an overlay, like a hologram. I don't believe they're all there. I think there's somebody manipulating our, visual reality, or they're practicing maybe on New York just to see how it works, maybe, because I spot a lot of these like fake overlays. So I wanted to address that as well, like maybe preparing for a major false flag. And I'm going to get fooled, I'm sure, but I can tell some of the fake stuff, I think. From the real stuff. Something looks so real, though. I would not know that it was a hologram, But I think
you just never know.
But I'd like to.
There are. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to send you some material and get your opinion on it at least, and see if any other callers have witnessed anything similar. But I'll give you one example.
Send it over.
I want to give you one.
Go to our Facebook.
I'll give you one story.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. One story. I was walking in the village, and some fellow just offered to walk me home. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but I looked up at the Empire State Building, and to me, I saw something, but I didn't want to say what I saw. So I looked at him. I said, "Do you see anything next to this Empire State Building?" He goes, "As a matter of fact, it looks like there are 5 men standing on each other's shoulders." I said, "I see that too. How tall are they?" He says, "Well, the 5th guy reaches the top of the building before the spire." I said, "Oh my God, I see the same thing." So it took 5 giants to make it to the top of the building. So we're just starting to talk about phenomena and what maybe it could be, and we're chatting. And we looked. I said, "Let's go look again." There was a 6th fellow on the 5th guy's shoulders now that reached the top of the spire. Now, this is I had a witness, so, I'm just going to mention that. But they are visible to other people. You know what I'm saying? Hello? Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, I was just trying to think. No, I'm here. It's just basically what's amazing is that you have somebody else with you. But what I was going back to a little bit earlier when you said that you wouldn't be fooled by this false flag if there was some kind of holographic false flag covert operation going on and they're testing it. But what we've heard is that, CERN is working with powering this thing up, the Hadron Collider, as heavy as it's ever gone before. And they are talking about the possibilities of opening up multiple dimensions. And there are guaranteed in most quantum physics, as they theorize, that, there's multi-dimensions living all around us. So you may be seeing somehow other dimensions.
I think the veil is like getting thin, or they're getting less subtle, or they're more visible, or they're materializing. I'm just wondering, are we able to actually live side by side if they materialize? Can they see us? What are the repercussions of having I don't know. Are we going to become interdimensional? How does that all occur? Is it possible even, how do they materialize if they can, like a Bigfoot, for example? There's some species that can actually materialize and dematerialize. I don't really know if I believe that, but anything's possible, right?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything is possible. And you can't rule it all out. You can't rule any of it out if it is mathematically possible. Theoretically, it can and is possible, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I didn't quote anybody on that. Anyway, let's see. We got time for maybe one more caller, so let's bring them in. Thanks so much, and send your submission to us via our Facebook. Our Facebook is on all our videos that we upload. The link is there. So Go ahead, submit those photos or video, whatever you got. We want to see it. Okay, now we're going to get to area code 480. 480, you were live. Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, Blake, can you hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear. Yep. Where are you calling in from? What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, my name's Chris. I'm from Tempe, Arizona. Originally from upstate New York. I'd like to tell a story, but I probably have to make it quick because I know we're kind of running out of time.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead. We could maybe extend it, but yeah, we want to hear your story. What do you got to share? Let's hear it.
Well, yeah, back in 2006, 2007, around that time frame, I witnessed. I was standing out on my front porch, and we have tile roofs, and I was talking to two people, and out from a distance, coming over the roofs, I saw what looked to be exactly like a UFO. The quintessential picture of the UFO from the side view. And I could see the lights kind of pulsating back and forth from one side to the middle and then back out to the end. And I thought it was the oddest thing. So as I was talking to everybody, I just started looking at this thing, and as it started moving forward, I noticed that all of a sudden it was right above me. The shape just got bigger and bigger, and I didn't even know what kind of shape it was. And next thing you know, I'm looking up, and I'm seeing this huge light that's like a giant, like a recessed light, okay, with this really bright, beautiful white light, not shining light down or anything. It's just all white, and if you look really closely at it, it looks like it's got little tiny cross-hatching in it way up in the bug, but it was so huge, and I could not make out what this thing was. And as it slowly started moving over, I noticed the three big, huge lights, one in the middle, one at both ends, and what it was that giant V-shaped craft. And this thing was so huge, I mean, it blocked out my entire view looking down the street. I could not see the other end of it. And it was like looking under the belly of this beast. It was just amazing because it was so big, and I couldn't make out the shape of it yet. But what I did notice is that as it started passing by, right in the middle of it, just towards the back, there was an area that looked like a little control center hanging down from the middle, which kind of looked like two oval layers of light, and then underneath it was kind of like the top of a submarine, but upside down, like attached to the bottom of it. And then as it started moving forward, I noticed that the trailing edge of this thing, it was blurry. It kind of looked like it wasn't like fully clear to me, and it kind of looked like there was like, it wasn't scaffolding, but it was just kind of like this, like something was holding like an image down underneath it or something. I couldn't tell what it was, but and then as it moved past, I saw the end of it, and as it continued past, I noticed there's just like this, I don't know, plum red light kind of trailing behind it. Past, I could see clear across to the other side of this thing. There's it was like a giant, huge observatory window. Kind of like you're looking into the side of a mall from the side view, and it's just this giant, like, thing that looks like I didn't see people in it, but it looked like there could be, like, a bunch of people just standing in there and looking down. And I thought it was the strangest thing, and it was, like, slowly moving, and it was, like, 50 to really, really close to the ground, it was like 100 feet. And it just kind of slowly cruised right past me, no sound whatsoever. That was the strangest thing about it. It was like watching this thing go by. As it went by, I noticed the shape of it when it finally went by me far enough. I looked at it and I said, "That's the strangest thing. It looks just exactly like a carpenter square." You know what I mean? Like a huge, gigantic Carpenter Square that just flew over me, no sound or anything. And then it went due south to me, and then, it kind of veered off going straight towards kind of like the Tucson area. But now, the interesting thing about it, after I saw this thing, I thought to myself, holy shit, the government needs to know that this thing is out there. Our military or something needs to know this huge, gigantic craft is just cruising around. And, I got the feeling when I looked at it, it looked like it didn't even care if it was seen or not, It just kind of cruised by like it didn't even care. And like maybe it decloaked and didn't realize it. And this was about like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, but it was just dark enough that, it was kind of like dusk, I think, like we're kind of like in between dark and light. And I'm thinking maybe the cloaking device didn't know how to adjust itself, and that's how I could see this thing. It was absolutely amazing. And the weird thing about it, for 10 years, I never even talked about it. I after I saw that thing, I was like, holy cow, wow, I just saw an amazing UFO. But then I thought to myself after a while, I kind of thought about it. Oh, and there's one more thing about it. What I did see hanging from the bottom of it, there was a beacon, hanging down, which did kind of give me the idea that maybe it is human in nature. But the craft itself is absolutely not. It's like this huge monster craft like out of Star Wars or something. It's flat, low profile, 90-degree angle, sharp edges, huge, craft, probably about 3/4 to a mile.
Yeah, reverse engineered, guaranteed, reverse engineered craft, but from alien technology. So one quick question, I got to get to one last caller here real quick. I want to bring him in, but do you think it was a reverse engineered military? Were you intimidated by it? Are you happy? Or how did you feel about you experiencing this? Is it good or bad?
Oh, it was awesome. I feel like I was like, I ask myself every night why God let me see such a craft like that, because, I didn't believe in UFOs, and this thing is, like, incredibly huge, you know what I mean? And it's so futuristic looking, like nothing we have, on the land, sea, or earth that I've ever seen, nothing conventional, absolutely. It's huge. And then when I come to find out after I did all my research, I've been researching, trying to find pictures of it, searching all over all these websites and everything. And then listening to your show and everything, and I came across this one picture. It's called a TR6 Telos. Have you ever seen that picture? They have. It's
We'll look it up. Wow, it could have been. We'll look up He just said it. Everybody, do your research on that. And what he just explained to us. If you've seen anything like that, call into the show. Tell your friends. Quite an amazing caller. That's why we extend the show. We're going to go to area code 919. I don't think we have enough time to go into 919's story, but I wanted to make contact. I think I'm dealing with a person that has some military background and wanted to share something. Am I speaking with a person that reached out to me on Facebook? I recognize the area code.
Hello? Hello?
Welcome to the show. Did you reach out to me on Facebook and you have a military background that you wanted to share some facts with us here at Third Phase of Moon?
No, I don't think so. I'm somebody else. My son's military, but I'm not. 1956, I saw a UFO in the park. It was less than 100 feet in the air. Everybody in the city of Baltimore was freaking out. I ran up to the craft, and I could actually see the beings in the craft looking at me. And about 2 months ago, a tremendous starcraft came past, and now live in Wilson, North Carolina. A tremendous-sized starcraft came past me. I mean, this thing couldn't be more than 500 feet in the air, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. You couldn't hear it, but you could see it as it was passing, the light of the moon, and it just went towards the west. I don't know. That brother there might have saw it. That might have been what he saw, because this thing was tremendous. It was in the sky, and it was solid. You couldn't even, hear this thing, and it went past us. the house here, and I just stood out there and watched it. But they're out there, and it's like the past civilizations. We know that mankind, something was here before mankind, a civilization much more advanced than we were or are now. They blew each other up to the best of my ability, brother. I'm going to leave it at that and let you go on and talk, because I'd rather hear you guys. God bless you.
Well, God bless you, sir, and appreciate the call. We might even contact you back, because this man, he sounds so legit, and he just claimed that he saw the aliens within the craft. Okay, this is what it's all about right here at Third Phase of Moon. This is why I do this, to make contacts with real people telling real stories of their encounters with extraterrestrial beings and UFO technology. Wow, people. Join me this Monday night. We're going to do it again. Same time, everybody. And thanks, everybody, for joining me on the Flash Chat tonight. It's been my pleasure being with you this Friday evening or morning, wherever you are in the world. Blake Cousins, keep your eyes on the skies. Have that steady hand. If you see something and you capture it on HD video now, shoot it in 4K. Send it to us right here at Third Phase of Moon. We want to see your stuff. Blake Cousins, be safe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again next time.